everybody. Welcome back to another episode of You Haven't Seen That Podcast, or YHST for short. I'm Isaac.
I'm Alva.
And this is a show where we cover movies on the growing list of films and ask people asking us the question,
You haven't seen that?
Intermission edition. Like I said in all the other previous episodes, I'm sorry that we haven't gone back to the takes or the breakdowns. That's because there's a lot of movies coming out, and I'm really fucking excited to see all of these movies. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to miss these movies, and I don't want to just have them in the bite-sized snack form that you can check out on our social medias at
YHST Pod.
On Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So please do me a favor. If you like what we do, you can either support us in a monetary form by going to Venmo
At YHST Pod.
or you can go to Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube and like and share and comment and subscribe, and don't keep us your dirty little movie secrets, and let people know about us so that we can, continue to do this, and it's not just like a silly little hobby we do in our living room.
Bow, 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 bow.
That. Yeah, so I want to go back to the breakdowns. I've been looking at some of the movies I've been wanting to do, guests and stuff like that, but I'm like, damn it, look at all these movies. Like, technically this week we're going to go watch Life of Chuck. That's going to make us cry.
How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah, I want to see what that's going to do for live action movies.
Is it your or a dragon? How to Train Your Dragon? How to Train Your Dragon.
It's going to be a fun episode. And then The Materialist that you wanted to go see. So, I don't know.
That's the third one. I was wondering.
And then that following week, F1 movie.
No. F1's at the end of the month.
Damn it, I wanted to be here sooner. Okay, so today, though, let's be in the present now. Today,
Now.
we're talking from the world of John Wick, Ballerina, and Phoenician Scheme. Two movies that we're kind of like on trend with like opposite end of the spectrum movies.
Which I like.
They're fun. Usually it's like one movie you can actually talk about, and then the other movie you're like, yeah, okay, that was cool. Mm-hmm. And then that's it. What are we doing next? Mm-hmm. And I want you guys to guess which one of those movies it is. Anyways, so I know we haven't done this in a while, so we're a little like shaky on the form, but we
rusty.
A little rusty, dusty, but we do actually have some news this time, and so we will now keep you informed of everything going on in Hollywood, movies, and entertainment with our fun little news-formed segment that we call YHST News.
Here's a cheese man.
I'm pretty sure I made up some words in there just to fill out the time. Regal Cinemas just announced that this summer from June 10th to August 6th, they'll be selling $1 tickets on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for family movies returning to the big screen.
Ryan Coogler Centers has recently grossed $272 million domestically, making it the highest grossing live-action original film in the U.S. in the past 15 years, hopefully signaling to Hollywood that viewers are craving good original films.
A24 has just greenlit the Backrooms movie starring Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renate Reinsve. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce their names. Based on the viral internet creepy videos of creepy liminal spaces. I use creepy way too many times. It'll be directed by 19-year-old Kane Parsons.
Amidst falling attendance rates, AMC will be adding commercials before the movies apart from the regular trailers. I wouldn't mind this as much if only the actual movie start times were given.
Blumhouse has acquired the Saw franchise from Twisted Pictures, bringing James Wan closer to the franchise he co-created. What devious things will Blumhouse have in store?
Joe Abercrombie's fantasy book The Devils will be adapted by James Cameron post-Avatar 3. Cameron has said that the freshness of the world and the characters in The Devils finally got me off my butt to buy one of these books and partner with him to bring it to the screen.
Star Wars Starfighter starring Ryan Gosling this time, gets its villain to be played by our favorite scream queen, Mia Goth. Mia Goth?
Mia Goth.
People have speculated that this might have been the role Mikey Madsen had turned down.
The Hercules film is currently still in development at Disney, but the Russo brothers want to retitle the film to Hades to aim focus on the villain, giving it the old Maleficent treatment.
Consider yourself informed.
That's your chi for the day.
Any one of those you want to talk about for a quick second?
I don't mind that the Russo brothers are doing that because Maleficent itself was a good movie.
A success. I mean, I think you had a sequel out of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, it's more fun to write for the villain. So you got a lot of meat to kind of deal with there.
And in the movie, like his character is very animated.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be right. The only thing is, who will be the right person to be Hades?
Well, the other thing too is, are they gonna kind of keep it that same vibe as the cartoon? Who voiced that? James Woods. And again, like we've said this with other adaptations from cartoons, like that, those things work in those cartoon forms. But then when you bring them to live action, like, does that mean that you're gonna, hit those comedic beats, where it's just really out there, or are you gonna bring it down to like a grounded level and be a little more serious about it?
Yeah,
it's an interesting character, but yeah, I'm fascinated to see what they're gonna do there. And last we kind of heard that Disney was slowing down the live action stuff, so. Let's hope this actually continues to get made instead of like stalling out.
Ooh, and I would love to hear the music with this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, what I'm excited for is A24. I'm always excited for anything that they're coming out with. The back rooms, I said it in the thing, but like if you're not familiar, look up back rooms or liminal spaces. It's basically like when stores are empty and it has that creepy, eerie feeling. Like nothing's wrong with it, but it feels like you're not supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. By the way, it's a great cast. I don't know anything about the director. He's the youngest director that A24 has. I don't know if he's like the youngest director ever. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's his feature film.
I feel like with his age, it would be the perfect director because he's much younger.
Yeah, and he's more familiar with said liminal spaces. Yeah. I mean, those are fun videos, and there's usually like a supernatural element to it. I was looking more into it when I was, looking at the news, that this was sort of put on the back burner before it got picked up by A24. So people are hoping that it's not going to stall out.
Okay.
Oh, and then lastly, as far as like all of the other things that we kind of talked about, AMC adding the commercials. Apparently, it's just one commercial. They call it like the premium spot, the platinum premium spot, or whatever. So it's, people are like, oh, wait, yeah, but they're always doing commercials. It's like, no. This is supposed to be like trailers, and then a commercial smack dab in the middle of the trailers. But apparently, it's just one commercial.
Oh, okay.
But I forget in what state that they were like, no, theaters need to say when the actual movie will start. You and I have been pretty good about guessing that it's like 20 minutes into what the
trailers.
What the ticket start time says.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we guess like the trailers are roughly like 20 minutes. These last 2-3 movies we were like just a few minutes shy of that, and missed the actual opening of a movie. Sorry.
Well, I think it was mostly like maybe like a beat or two.
Yeah, I really missed much.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right, let's jump into it then. Ballerina from the world of John Wick. This is technically the 6th thing in the John Wick universe. Although I thought I remember seeing that there was going to be like some animated thing. Anyways. So this is following John Wick 4, and it's also following Peacock's The Continental. All right? That's the show that basically wasn't a success. And the importance of that, the context of that is, does the world of John Wick exist? Can it exist without John Wick? And after watching this movie, unless you have a better writer, I don't think so. To kind of set it up, right, I want to give flowers that I love the John Wick universe, and I love the very first John Wick film. It did something to action movies where it like, I don't like overuse this word, but like it grounded action movies and made it more realistically tactical, still kind of Hollywooding it and zhuzhing it up where it's like it looks cool on screen. But where you're actually sending the actors out to do gun training and tactical training so that it looks really fucking good.
Yeah.
And they still carry that over in all of the, 2, 3, 4. And with this one, Ana de Armas training with, I think, Terran Tactical. And every fucking gun in these franchise movies, like, are made by Terran Tactical. They're gorgeous looking firearms. Seriously, they're really good looking guns. So, like off the top, I mean, the action of the John Wick stuff is amazing. I mean, it's not to the level of like, not necessarily like in-camera stunts, but you know, the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible level stunts. But there's it's like that old-fashioned like 90s, 80s stunt work.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like the wire work and the stunts, and it looks really good. The quick editing and just impressive physicalities. Like that is always going to be fun. The weapons are always going to be fun. But as far as like a story, after that first John Wick movie, I don't know. I mean, I think the rest of them kind of fall short. Even within like the actual John Wick series itself, like it kind of started to get a little, I don't know, watered down, if you will. Like by the fourth one, everyone has like a fucking bulletproof suit and whatever, and it's, you know, now he's like battling 100. You know, it's like instead of the one gorilla and 100 men, it's like one Baba Yaga and 100 bad guys. And evidently, if you're only sad and not angry, you suck as an assassin in this fucking world.
Yeah. You have to have like a whole trauma.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, so I got to be like an orphan, or I got to be something so traumatic. So technically, if this were like real life, I would be one of them because I have like what trauma? You would be one of them too.
I don't know. I'm more sad than anything else because, you know, and by the way, like this movie does show, because he does have his, you know, sort of quote unquote cameo, his part in it. It does show that everyone else, including Ana de Armas, pales in comparison to John Wick. He is the boogeyman, and she's just the ballerina. She was awesome. She was great. I love Ana de Armas. She's something, you know, to be a guy for a second, she's something pretty to look at. You know what I mean? And her performances was awesome. Like, it was believable as this, like, up-and-coming assassin, if you will.
Yeah, I did like that. Because it also gave her she already kind of, in a way, has, like, a baby face.
Yeah.
So, for her to start this movie as like the whole training-ish montage in the beginning and stuff like that, and like her having that little baby face, it made it more believable that this is like her stepping into this world, like finally past training and basically the job she has to do.
And that's where I wanted the movie to sort of sit with it, you know, exploring more of this world. You know, because what made John Wick really awesome, especially the first one, was the world building. We had never seen anything like this. And it trusted the audience to just kind of get what was going on, you know, without like having to explain too much of everything. And with this movie, you explored a little more of the what was the group she was with? The Ruskaromas, right? Headed by the director, who's played by Angelica Houston, which fucking love her, my God. So, oh, and by the way, in case I didn't say so, this takes place between John Wick 3 and 4. And there's a little bit in there in the first act where you're like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that part. I actually completely forgot about the Ruska-Roma, so I should have brushed up. But you know, you could still watch and enjoy this movie without having seen part 3 or 4. Although it would be also funny if you've never seen any of the John Wick movies and you're like, oh, Keanu Reeves. So you're gonna have to have some context in it.
I blanked out what happened with 3 or 4.
I don't remember either.
And in my head, I'm like, I know he's gonna pop up because there was like all these like speculations, and then he's also in like the movie poster and everything. And I'm just like, okay. And as the movie's going along, I'll be like, why is he in here?
Yeah.
Why? And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, because from what I remember after watching the movie and everything, like from what I remember after 4, they're saying that he is, where people were like, where was John Wick within all this time? Yeah. And I'm like, this movie is supposed to kind of in a way be that middle.
Okay, my problem with it, though, when you really sit and think about it, and by the way, I've said this with these other popcorn movies, which this is, that if you start to think about it too much and you start to break it down, it falls apart. Okay, so if you're going in this movie, you want to have fun, you will have fun. Just suspend your disbelief as far as stories are concerned and just go in to have a fun, action-packed, filled movie, all right? That's that. But we're going to pick it apart a little bit. What makes it weird is that if you're John Wick and you're on this road to vengeance or whatever and trying to get out of the, you know, the whole fucking thing, between 3 and 4, like, if you remember, and I had to look this up, by the way, so this is just not off the top of my head. This is when he like got his ass beat and Lawrence Fishburne is helping him out and he's sort of recovering. And then just imagine you're in your own journey and the director of the Ruskaromas is like, hey, I need a favor. He's like, okay, let me just go do the side quest real quick.
Yeah. This was a side quest movie for him.
Yeah, it was a glorified side quest. I mean, I love me Keanu Reeves and I love me some John Wick, and when he does make his appearance, which is thankfully kind of a bigger appearance towards like the end of the film. I won't say what context. He does go up against Ana de Armas's Eve, and she's doing a really good job kicking all kinds of ass, in her story of vengeance through the majority of the film. And once she goes up against the boogeyman, it shows you that, this movie is sort of following in the shadow of John Wick. And it's trying like fucking hell to stand apart from all those things. And it really had a chance. I sincerely think that this movie had a chance to be its own thing. And I don't know where the writing went wrong or whatever kind of direction, but then it was like, okay, but we know we have to hit the beats of John Wick.
Mm-hmm. I think they were overcompensating to hit those beats because the action was good. The fighting was good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think most of it might have been left on the maybe left behind cut or something direct. Maybe the studio didn't like certain ways because how in the beginning of the movie that's like women empowerment, and then halfway through you're like, let's ditch that, and I'm just like, wait, no, but all right, I guess. I
thought the whole thing of like her having, they even said they even wrote a fucking song about it, and it's even sort of said it as a line in the thing that she has to fight like a woman, right?
Fight like a girl.
Yeah, because she's always going to be smaller and weaker, and so she has to figure out these more advantageous ways to kick all kinds of ass, and it's fun. And when she has her first mission, it shows, and it's awesome, and I really, really enjoyed those things. But then there's a moment towards like the very end where it just kind of like part 4 did for me, just kind of jumped the shark. The saying "jump the shark."
You use it. I put two and two together.
In case nobody knows the phrase "jump the shark," so bear with me for a second, and I need you to know, "jump the shark" refers to the Fonzie in Happy Days. I think it might have been the last episode. He rides a jet ski to literally jump a ramp and jump over a shark.
Oh.
And it's so out there that it was like, what the fuck are we doing? Jump the shark. Anyways, so the last part of it does exactly that, where I was like, okay, this is where I then have to unplug my brain and suspend further disbelief to enjoy the rest of this movie. So yes, it's a story of vengeance, but my only problem is like with the first John Wick, and yes, I'm going to compare it to the first John Wick film because we are in the world. It's literally on the title of the thing, Ballerina, from the world of John Wick. So
from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. It's
comparing itself to the John Wick, the original John Wick film. So per the first film, like the motivation was like super strong, and in this one, it was okay, but I didn't feel the motivation. I didn't feel like the anger in her. You know what I mean? Like she's a great actress, but the motivation itself wasn't believable. Whatever. Like I said, I'm there for the action. But the the other thing that was like these moments where I go, that's super cool, but we're gonna ignore the fact that like her ears aren't ringing. There are some sequences where she gets grenade happy. I'll leave it at that. She gets really grenade happy to the point where I'm like, dude, you would be. It's one thing in movies to just be like, okay, people are going to fire guns and their hearing is going to be perfect. Fine, whatever. That's what the movies have all agreed upon. Mm-hmm. But grenades, goddammit, dude, this bitch's ear should have been bleeding, or the top of her hair should have been singed.
My whole thing was you learn this whole ballet thing, and it's not easy. Like you don't go from like not learning ballet to doing point shoes when you're on your toes because you have to strengthen your ankles, and that takes years. And I'm like, but you don't use any of that in your fighting.
Cool. That would have been cool.
What? That is just a lost.
That would have been really cool.
Like, what? That I was like, whatever.
So yeah, I mean, this movie had its hits and misses. Oh, flamethrowers! My God, there's a fucking flamethrower battle that I actually thought was really fucking cool.
I think I liked that one. I was like, that's okay. Let's leave that there.
But then there was this one little plot device, twist, whatever. There's this one thing introduced in there that should have had like a bigger emotional impact. That once it's sort of like resolved, you kind of go, okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Norman Reedus is in there. He's sort of the thing that like, makes her situation go awry. And they didn't do much with it. That's what I'm saying. Like, there were so many opportunities for this thing to like hit in different ways than John Wick, and it just missed the mark on it. Did we have a lot of fun? Fuck yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And this was also, was it Lance Reddick?
Uh-huh.
His last film. Yeah, it was his last film. I did have another issue with this.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie, you know, you're going through your training, and of course, you have to have, when you pass like your first mission, your first test or whatever, you get the remainder of the tattoo on your back, right?
Right.
There is no damn way in hell she's sitting perfectly fine when it's right in her spine because, excuse me.
I thought the same thing, but then I figured these are badass assassins. Like, you're going to be a cold heart killer.
Yeah, at least do like a little like.
There was a sequence in there that I was actually. There's many sequences that I was impressed by, but there was one particular one I was impressed not because there was physicality, but because there was a lack of physicality. It's this big oneer, right? It's like a couple months after she's starting her whole assassin, or no, she's not an assassin. She's like a protector. Ballerinas are protectors. I forget what the term is. They it's not really spoiling anything like that, but it's just funny how they did it. And I thought it was so clever, and I thought, oh, this is new, and I want this sort of tone to kind of continue throughout the movie, which it didn't. But it basically is panning out from the end of her situation, and you get to see this like path of destruction that she had laid.
Oh yeah, in the beginning.
Oh, so cool,
great.
But yeah, going back to like comparing it to John Wick, I mean, it felt like copy paste towards the middle, and then obviously towards the end. Even the way that it fucking ended, I was like, yeah, that's John Wick right there. But they even dressed her as John Wick.
Yeah,
like I mean, she looks great in that suit, but she's like dressed in a suit, and her hair sort of slicked like Keanu Reeves was. So it was copy and paste, and I kind of resented for it.
I kind of have a side note. If they were to make a Willie Nelson movie, Norman Reedus would be the one.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Oh my God.
There you go.
Dude, he's like 99.
Yo, he's your grandpa's age.
Dude, my grandpa was partying.
And he's smoking weed still. Not your grandpa.
I was like, what do you know?
Well, we don't know. But, you know, maybe he eats edibles.
Pops his leg off and just takes a rip.
Who knows? That would be badass.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that's that for Ballerina. I mean, I don't think I just spoiled anything. I mean, I think by now, if people were going to go see it, they're going to go see it.
Just see it. It's a fun movie.
Yeah. Which then leads us on to the next movie, which is The Phoenician Scheme, which is Wes Anderson's 12th film. I think anytime a Wes Anderson film is announced, everyone gets excited. I don't know to the level of a Quentin Tarantino, but people either love Wes Anderson or they hate Wes Anderson films. Mainly because he's very stylized. That's his whole thing. So I want to quickly recap like what makes a Wes Anderson film. I know I go further into it in a past episode where we covered Fantastic Mr. Fox. Just in a very breathier and headier description of what makes a Wes Anderson. It's all there. But in case you don't want to go back, I'll just nutshell it.
Do it.
His camera movements are very like lateral. Right? Kind of side to side, forward, backwards. Very specific camera movements, almost static to the most part. A very unique color palette in the sort of earth tones, Moroccan feeling, pastel almost. Composition, the way it's composed, it's usually like everything's centered or there's symmetry, or sometimes there's the asymmetry, right? You have your main character on the left first third, and then your other characters like in the background on the second and third thirds. The idiosyncrasies, right? Things that you're not really supposed to do or whatever it is. Dry humor, a lot of it. And usually the movies focus around kind of bad people. And of course, similar feels of movies, and to get more nerdy and specific, the sound designs of the thing. It's very Wes Anderson. And it's quirky.
Oh, and same actors. He works with a lot of the same actors.
That being said, Michael Cera,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, okay, so with the Benedict Cumberbatch one, by the way, yes and no, because Cumberbatch, his character sort of had like his character was sort of looming over the characters, all the main characters' consciousness. But his actual part was like 5 minutes toward the end of the film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Michael Cera, I want to talk about. Everyone else in this film was perfectly fine. Yeah, Benicio del Toro, and then who played his daughter?
Mia Treplatin. Theraplatin.
Oh, well, that is hard to pronounce.
Why do you
Mia,
keep
Maya, Threap. Oh my God, sounds like that's okay. You know what? You guys do the research.
You know what it sounds like? Mia Thermopolis from.
Yeah. No, everyone else was perfectly fine. Like, one of my issues with the movie, this is probably one of my few issues with the movie, is the performances. And it's, he usually has a dry humor, but the performances or the humor was very dry. Like, everyone had the same feel. On paper, like, you almost really hardly differentiate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Literally, Johansson did like a shrug similar to Benicio del Toro's daughter.
Yeah.
Like it was similar shrugs and those kind of similar beats where, I don't know, I kind of wanted more out of some of the other actors, especially Mia, last name I can't pronounce.
Thermopolis.
Which makes Michael Cera's performance stand out a lot. Because he, in essence, like played a couple different personalities fantastically well, to the point where I was like, wait, this is Michael Cera's first Wes Anderson film? He's not done any other ones? Holy shit. So any further Anderson films, I hope Cera pops up again.
Maybe.
No, really? You didn't like his performance?
Oh, no, I did like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, yeah, I did like it. But I said maybe. Maybe he'll be in other ones. Who knows?
But going back to the other actors that you said, like he has, those ones were really glorified cameos where when you watch a trailer or they announce the film and you see who's cast and whatever, you're like, oh, of course Bill Murray, of course Scarlett Johansson, of course Willem Dafoe, only to find out that they are, have these, they're like in these little blips of scenes.
You know that Bill Murray has a landline. He doesn't own a cell phone, and you could only get his phone number from his agent. And for you to pitch a movie, you would have to call that line, leave a message. He'll get back to the message, but he only responds back to Wes Anderson.
That's awesome.
Like, he's like, that's
such a Murray thing to do.
Yeah. I live by no phones, but you got to leave me a message and I'll get back to you.
So like I said before, his movies are stylized, right? And so this isn't my quote or this isn't my phrase, but somebody had equated it to a piece of art in a museum. It's style and it's pretty to look at, but there's not really substance. Some of his other movies had substance.
Yeah.
Like when we covered Fantastic Mr. Fox, like it was covering some really like heady stuff about marriage and relationships and basically like addiction problems. And I guess you can argue that this movie does too, because Benicio del Toro plays this, overly wealthy, comfortable guy who, he's so rich that nothing affects him. And people are trying to like unalive him. And he just sort of like the most fun parts of the movie was not the actual plot of him trying to fund his whole Phoenician scheme. The fun part was how blasé he was with like everything else that was happening.
Yeah, it was more like, it is what it is.
Yeah. But, which was fun.
Yeah. I think my favorite parts were when he would meet with the other characters of these schemes, right? And they would kind of like start going back and forth and yelling back and forth, like arguing at the same time. Like, there it is. That's the Wes Anderson thing.
Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, that scene, favorite.
Yeah.
So funny. So good. I don't think I have more to say about the movie. It's really straightforward. It's a Wes Anderson film. It's fun. You're going to have a chuckle. You're going to have a giggle. Some performances are going to stand out more than others. But I don't think you're like going to come out of it going like, I really learned this life lesson or, there was a message behind it.
I think...
But they look really good. There's not one moment or one beat or one scene where I'm like, yawn. There was a trend where people were like mimicking Wes Anderson's style.
Yeah.
But no one can do Wes Anderson like Wes Anderson
like the TikTok where it was, Oh, I love those little things. Yeah.
It's cute. It's an homage.
Yeah. And it shows how much his films have that influence in pop culture.
Totally.
But also, I was watching either red carpet interviews or something with this movie, and Benicio del Toro, they asked him like, well, how is it that you had to like do this father-daughter thing. Like, did you take inspiration from your father-daughter, your actual like daughter? He goes, yeah, I kind of had to like use how me and my daughter's relationship a little bit in this movie. So it's kind of just more, which kind of worked because it was kind of like, oh, okay, I'm the father. Yeah.
But that's what I was trying to say earlier, and which is what makes it funny, because with the Wes Anderson films, the actors have a very specific way in how they're directed to act. You know, it's very quippy, it's very punchy, and sometimes they're like barely even moving. And like I said before, the delivery is dry. The acting is good, but it's not, you don't need to, and you know, come at me if you will, but you don't really need to be on your like top acting level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're not needing to dig down deep and become inspired. It's a Wes Anderson film. Seems like a fun shoot.
You know, want to know what my favorite like whole scene from the whole movie was? Was in the beginning, the top view when he's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
For some reason, that opening scene just, I don't know, it clicked my brain in a certain way.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, that's art right there.
That's why we love the Wes Anderson films. We love that style. We know what we're going to get. All the other movies that we've seen, they've fallen in this sort of format of hyper stylized. There's some other movies, I can't name off the top of my head, but there's some other movies that feel, lack of better term, more cinematic, if you will. You know, there's more involved. This one, it looks and it sounds pretty.
It's not my top one.
No, not the top one.
Not my top one.
Nothing to sneeze at, though.
But I think I'll put it after maybe Isle of Dogs, maybe.
Isle of Dogs was the first one you and I saw together.
Yeah. For me, Moonlight Kingdom is like my favorite. Yeah,
that one, you guys are surprised that I hadn't seen that, and I enjoyed that greatly. The Royal Tenenbaums, that's the one I was thinking about. And Life Aquatic. Those ones feel more like we are in the real world. This one felt surreal. That's the word I was looking for. This one really felt surreal, like it took place in some fantasy land, like a storybook, which some of his other movies have done. I don't know. I think I prefer something that feels more in reality, just a touch, not a bunch. It's a Wes Anderson film. I don't know. People are gonna come at me for that one. Sorry.
Don't come at him.
That's my opinion. Anything more you want to say about that movie?
No, I think
pretty
that's
straightforward,
good.
right? Yeah. All right, now it brings us to our last segment, not the penultimate segment, because this time we ain't got no trivia. I couldn't figure out what the hell to do trivia off of, and so that leads us into IHST Gets Fresh. Every other episode, me and Alva alternate and guessing the Rotten Tomato critic and audience score, as well as giving our own personal rating on the aforementioned movies, this time being Ballerina and the Phoenician Scheme. And it's Alva's turn to guess the movie ratings. And let's hear what she has to say right after the beat. I gotta stretch those out a little longer.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to start with?
Ballerina.
Ballerina. Let's hear your personal rating first.
68.
Okay.
You think critics gave it a 65? Audience maybe a 71.
I'm gonna be a little surprised here.
Okay.
Critics liked it at a 76%.
What?
Yeah, higher than I kind of expected.
Okay.
Yeah. But the audience loved it at a 93%.
Oh.
Must be a grenade-loving crowd. Which then leads us to the Phoenician Scheme. What's your rating?
78.
Interesting.
I give that a
Critic?
critic. Crap.
As if we haven't done this a bunch of times.
79. Would I give it myself? 78?
Uh-huh.
They could go 79.
And popcorn?
I don't have much confidence in these people. 73.
Wow, you were actually closer with this one. Critics gave it a 78%. Yeah, that's ding, ding, ding on that one.
Nice. I need the ding, ding, ding. Hell yeah.
And the audience, a 71%. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It again, falls into that whole, you're going to love it, you're going to hate it.
Mm-hmm. That's close on this one.
Yeah, but there you fucking have it, and there you fucking is. And so we bring our show to a close. Anything else you want to say about these movies before we close it out?
Nope, that's it.
All right, folks. Thank you again for listening to us. I got really caffeinated and hyper, just like fucking ran through these movies. Which is why I can't wait to do like a full breakdown where we could kind of like sit with the movie a little longer. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, like, share, and follow all of our little like YHSD snacks and news and stuff like that on our social medias at
YHSD Pod
on
TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Boom. And then if you want to support us in a monetary form, you can do that on Venmo at
YHSD Pod.
And we appreciate that. Anything, absolutely anything is awesome. You want to buy us a bucket of popcorn? You want to buy us a fancy popcorn bucket? F1's coming out.
Ooh,
Elba wants that.
helmet.
Make her happy. Her birthday's coming around the corner.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for listening so far. Let us know what movies you're excited to see this summer. And also let us know what movies are on your growing list of films. And as people asking you the question, you haven't seen that? See you next week. Or listen to us next week. Oh, whatever.
Okay, bye.